wait for the Spreaker one. If you got this part of the video, you got the live unedited edition. Home Gadget Geeks, Thursday night, July 11th, 2019. Sorry, I was distracted.
I don't know.
I have a new
year
workflow.
it is.
I have a new workflow, and we're using StreamYard tonight. So, if you got this part, if you're watching this, it just means you got our live version, which is actually better than the recorded version, only because we talk about what we're drinking, and I got a few cigar things to talk about in the pre-show. Then we do the show, which you hear if you subscribe to the podcast, and then a little crypto afterwards. So thanks for joining us here. Thanks for checking in to Joski. I see you out there. Ryan, thanks for coming out. I saw Ron a little bit earlier out there. Everybody seems to be. Ken's checking in. So, Ken, did we get the live? Did you see the live notification on YouTube? We're doing this new StreamYard, and I'm assuming it kicks off the notification on my webcast channel. But we're giving this a shot. We got a couple different options. We could go this way if you want. See Mike and I that way. It'd
full screen.
Closer.
Full screen glory.
Just me and cut Mike completely out if that's what we're doing. And then we got a few things I can do. Big me, little Mike. I haven't figured out how to do big Mike, little me, which would be kind of cool. But so that's what we got so far.
I like the one where we're like this one.
You like this one, huh?
Yeah, I think I do.
All right. Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, a little close. It cuts off the.
Oh yeah.
It cuts this off back here, but it's okay. I'm fine. It's
because I'm watching on the live page, and there's just so much black the other way, right? Like we're shrunk in quite a bit.
It's true. If you full screened it, it would still be a lot of black, but the picture would be a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would think. I don't know. We'll leave it here for now. I don't know, audience, what do you guys think? Ryan and Ken, and if you're watching, what do you think?
It's like the optometrist, A or B?
Yeah.
This one or this one?
Yeah, this one, this one, this one, this one. I just gave somebody a seizure.
Yeah.
Mike, I've got the Pampered Chef. I was drinking a little white wine with dinner, and I got the Pampered Chef kind of wine glasses, but fully engulfed in Guinness tonight. Just
love it.
Couldn't pass it up. I had some Guinness in the fridge. What about you? What are you drinking tonight?
Going with the infusion from here, from Nebraska. The there it is, vanilla bean. The vanilla bean blonde. It is it's such a good beer.
Benson beer.
Is it really? Is that where it's at?
I think they're up in Benson.
That makes sense. I've never been to the brewery.
So good.
It's amazing.
So good. Listen, if you're a beer fan at all and you're outside of the Omaha area and you get a chance to get infusion vanilla bean, some really good beer. Pretty amazing stuff that's out there. Mike, a couple things. One, I got some Boveda packs for the cigars. These are humidity. They got some kind of chemical on the inside. It's kind of like I don't know. There's liquid in there, but it doesn't come out. Somehow humidity goes in and out. And it's designed to keep the humidity in your cigar, in your humidor. There we go. Perfectly at the humidity that it states on the pack. So this is 69%.
So you're just throwing those right in the humidor.
Just toss them in. Toss them in. You recharge them every so often. And they keep it right at 69. Like they don't, if it's too humid, it will suck up the humidity to get it at 69. If it's not humid enough, it'll put that back into the humidor. Yeah. So far I dropped one of these into the humidor that's up here. I think you can see it.
Yep. The ceramic. It's right on top of the wood, right?
In the plexiglass one or whatever we call that thing. Took it to 60, 67, 68, 69 right in there. Just keeps it right in there. Pretty nice. I threw 3 in the wood humidor. And the humidistat in there, or the hygrometer, is not very good. I really need to do something different there. So Boveda, pretty cool. Not terribly expensive. I don't know, $13, $14 for 4 of these. And you can recharge them, allegedly. So I've been watching YouTube videos on those. So if you're a cigar guy, it seems to be all the cigar guys are using these now. Okay. In fact, some companies are shipping these in when they send you cigars, which is pretty cool.
So before recharging, how long do they last?
I think it depends on the conditions, of course.
Okay.
So if it's really
Probably
dry,
how
they're not.
tight your humidor is too,
Yeah,
right? How well it seals.
I would think so. We probably keep the humidity in the 40% range during the summer in the house, and so it's having to constantly battle against 40% humidity.
Right.
So you just drop them in distilled water and let them soak for half a day, and then pull them out, set them aside till this paper. It's not really paper, but whatever it is dries. They're recharged. And pretty cool. A great solution. Kind of throw them in, don't have to worry about them, which is pretty cool. And then I picked up I ordered from Thompson's a new kind of variety pack. So we got some Gurkhas. We'd had those before. I think Tajoski sent us that. We have a different version of those. I love these little warnings on there. So Mike, if you're pregnant, make sure you're not.
Oh man, that's good to know.
Definitely not
pregnant with a food baby, but besides that,
and tobacco increases the risk of cancer.
That it does.
Disease. Yeah. Even in non-smokers.
Have you seen, like, if you go to a foreign country, they'll actually have pictures of like cancer on the pack, like if someone's just throat that's gone. It's pretty effective, to be perfectly honest.
You're right.
I saw it for the first time on our honeymoon, and I was like, whoa, look at these. And Hannah's like, that's disgusting. I'm like, and it's like right on the cigar, even if they're individually packaged. It's a law. They have to put them on there.
Tajoski, we're talking about it. He says, Mike, you probably like the Shiner Lemon. Have you had
anything
Shiner
by Shiner? I am a huge the Shiner Holiday Cheer is my all-time favorite beer. Probably.
I took you up on that last winter and picked some of those.
Those are good
up at
beers.
Hy-Vee. 5 Vegas. I got a few of those that came in. This was all part of kind of a promotion pack. McAdoo. Got a few of those. Those are a little shorter. And then some Rocky Patel Royal, yeah, Rocky Patel Royals. So,
dang, bunch of different variety.
$50 for 20.
Not bad.
That's pretty good. 2 something a stick.
Yeah.
Right. So something new. I wanted to try some new things. My favorite's been those Javas, the Drew Estates Javas. Those have been pretty good. I've enjoyed those. We've had the Tabics. I think those are also a Drew Estate brand cigar. Really enjoyed those. We've got one more to try out, Mike. I think it's going to take us a couple weeks to
find a time that we're both available.
Yeah, get that done. I got to get those coins over to you too.
Yep.
I'll talk about it in the show. Kevin Schoonover sent us microbits, so I got to get one of those. He sent one for me and one for you.
Oh, sweet.
He was feeling sorry for us after 407 when we were complaining about how boring technology was. He was like, "Well, here's what the kids do."
Okay.
So he said, "Have you heard of microbit?"
I've heard of them, and I haven't looked into them at all though. One of my coworkers told me that her teenage son was talking about them, something like that.
Yeah, so Joe says, yeah, don't let the ashes fall on the children. So that's
fair enough.
You got to have a tight ash when you're smoking cigars. I'm just saying. It's kind of a requirement. You know?
Do? Yeah.
Yeah, you want to make sure that
you can't be a tight ash. You just got to have one.
So the week of the College World Series, we ended Thursday, right? And I did the last episode. We did a 407 on Thursday, and then I met a buddy. So Friday night, I met a buddy at Havana that Friday night. He was going out of town, so we smoked a cigar there. Then Sunday, I think I went back again.
Did you really?
And I think. Trying to remember why.
Frequent flyer
I think I met somebody there. So Sarah went out of town. She left Saturday to go. No, she left Friday to go to her mom's. And then Wednesday.
Because you were smoking too many cigars.
Probably true. Wednesday, College World Series. It was the finals, right? Vanderbilt and
they had gone to game 3. Yep.
And I was nobody was home, and I thought maybe I'll go over to the game, and it was super hot, like it always is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I'm gonna probably pay $35 for a ticket. I'm gonna sit in the sun somewhere. It's gonna suck. Or I could go to Havana and watch the game from there.
So that's what you did, huh?
Went down. Went down. And then Friday we had a happy hour from work, and about 4 of us went down there, and I brought cigars down there. So it was a 4 cigar week.
Yeah, it's a good week.
Like, dude, I'm getting okay. Slow it down there, cowboy. Slow it down.
All right, Carlson.
I know.
Take a few off.
Super good though. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah.
So I bought one called a Animal Cracker at Havana on Wednesday for the game, and it lasted me the entire game. So 2.5 hours, 2 hours 45 minutes. Well, it wasn't. It was probably 60, and it was probably a pretty good length, right?
Okay.
I mean, so it was healthy, but I went through a couple beers and a couple bourbons. It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So I get up, and I'm just sitting there the whole time, right?
Yeah. Hadn't gotten up yet.
Hadn't got up.
Go to the restroom.
All.
That's when it gets scary.
Not even. Yeah, I just sat there the whole time watching the game. Few folks came by. It was just basically nobody was there. It was just me and a few other people. So I get up. It's about 9:30, and I get up, and I'm like, oh, okay. Let's. We're gonna need to kind of walk this one off. So I walked across the street to the hotel, used the bathroom over there, and then walked down to the stadium, thinking maybe there'd be a party down there. Vandy had won.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, nothing was going on downtown. Like it was literally
really? After that game, there was nothing going on.
Nothing.
Wow.
So, but I walked all the way down to the stadium and then walked back. It took me, I don't know, 45 minutes. Took my time. By that time, things were better.
Even back out.
It was pretty great. Sarah came back on Saturday, and I thought, okay, time to let's back down a little bit,
right,
on those cigars. But pretty great. Ken said, and then he did a stair workout. Well, I did the stair workout that Monday. So smoking cigars a little bit different than smoking cigarettes. Like, it's just a different. You're not inhaling, and
yeah, I've never smoked a cigarette, but a cigar's.
I couldn't do a cigarette. Poker night. Hey, I won poker night.
When you messaged me that, because I had seen a picture from earlier in the night, I was like, I don't know. There was one guy who had a pretty big stack at that point, and nice, well done.
Finally, went out on a straight too.
That's really,
yeah. I got 2 straights too, and I got a flush 2 in that, which I'm not really good at those. And so it was kind of one of those nights. It felt pretty good. I'd gotten ahead early, and then I had got behind a little bit, and then I told the guy, Ricky, Ricky, I don't know if you remember Ricky, we call him Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
So he was pretty stacked, and I said, all right, Ricky, I'm going to start chipping away, and and then just little bits. I just started chipping away at him. And about 11:30 we got done. We'd started early, 5:30, so it was a good night.
Still a decent game.
Yeah. Tabak and a Rough Rider, and we were doing White Claws. Have you tried White Claw seltzer?
Oh yeah. Love White Claws.
Super popular right now too.
They're so good.
Somebody brought a case or
White Claw and Truly. Both those brands are really
White
good.
Claw was good.
Yeah,
White Claw was definitely good. So, well, thanks for joining us. If you're hanging out there just a little bit in the pre-show, we normally start right at the top of the hour, but I didn't necessarily feel like we needed to catch up on some.
I know it's been 2 weeks.
Frivolities,
right?
I like to say.
Frivolities. I'm going to use that. That's good.
Is that the right word?
I don't know. Sounds good.
Frivolities? I think it is. And this Guinness just about fits in this.
I thought you were going to say it's just about done. And this Guinness just about done.
That'd be a little fast. Be a little fast. We went down last night. We went down to downtown. There's a new Irish pub down there. Annie's, I think, is what it's called.
Okay.
And they don't serve food. We would have stayed there to eat, but they had Murphy's on tap. Which I got to come back and I got to come back and try that. So, yeah, it's pretty good. So, but there's nothing. They're building down there, so there's nothing else.
Yeah,
in that Capital District area.
We went to a distillery actually over 4th of July weekend and did a tour. But they had been around since the 1800s, but their main stack on their distiller broke in the 1980s, and they actually took a hiatus, and they didn't come back until about 2-3 years ago. So they haven't even uncorked their bourbon yet because they're storing their bourbon, but they're going to uncap the first round after 4 years and then do like 5, 10, 15.
That's super great.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Really cool to see how all it's made.
Where was that at?
Weston, Missouri. So north of Kansas City, about an hour. Pretty cool. Very cool town.
How far from St. Joe?
Oh, probably an hour.
Okay. So in between.
Yeah,
in between
right in between there and to the west a little bit. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I was just down there. I dropped my daughter off at school. She's got she had a retreat up in or a conference up in Minneapolis. So I dropped her down there, and then she drove back up. There was no great way to get her to run. I would have to go out to Des Moines, and it would have been 2 hours later. I really needed to get to work, so it all worked out. All right, well, guys, thanks for coming out tonight, and I really thought that conversation would garner a little bit more in the chat room, but I guess not. Good to see you guys, Ken, Ryan, Joe. Anybody else, if you're out there, check in the chat room. I saw Ron a little bit earlier, so good to have you. Let's kick this thing off, Mike, and get it going. Oh, I probably should actually open up the God, as many times as I do this thing, and I still need to have it open. It's pretty lame. Pretty lame. Let's see. Intro. There it is. Didn't quite have that one ready to go. Let's see. Today is 3 weeks off. June 20th was the last time we did this.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It's been kind of nice. I'm not gonna lie. We'll talk a little bit about it in the show. July 11th. All right, here we go. No, this is 408. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 408, recorded on July 11th, 2019. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home. News, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios. And Mike, honestly, we should be outside tonight.
We really should. These are the nights you podcast outside. Just beautiful weather, blue sky, not terribly hot. I mean, still your upper 80s, lower 90s, but there's not as much humidity. Feels perfect.
Almost none. I could feel... We kind of had a wind come in last night. I'd taken Sarah out for dinner, and it was really, really windy. And you could feel the cool air kind of coming in. And I think we're going to get down into the middle 60s tonight, which for July
doesn't happen very often around here.
Doesn't happen very often at all. In fact, it's been a good night also. I'm doing some foundational work for my landscaping out here. I got to do some concrete block, and so I've been digging out. I've been digging trenches. I laid a new drain for the house. And I was doing that Sunday when it was really hot. I should be out there like tonight getting that done. Of course, we're not. We're podcasting tonight because that's what's important, because that's what you do. Of course, we post them with show notes. By the way, starting this week, I'm going to start providing full transcripts for you. So we've been using, we'll talk a little bit about it later, but we've been using a service, or I'm going to start using a service called Otter, OTTER.ai. They're really in the meeting space to try to do transcripts of meetings. That's kind of the intention. It's like, apparently what's said at meetings is important. I don't know if I've ever said anything important in a work meeting, but you can record work meetings, and it also works for podcasting. Pretty cool. You want to see an example of that, head out to theaverageguy.tv/HGG408. We'll get you there. And from here on out, I think I'm going to try to provide word for word transcripts in the show notes, which would be kind of fun. Give me your feedback on that if you're interested or if it works out. Of course, we post those at theaverageguy.tv. Don't forget, you can also join us live on our mobile app here and on the road if you want to get it done that way. Available, easy to get to, homegadgetgeeks.com, Android, iPhone. It's free. Our Patreon subscribers help pay for that every single year. It does cost a little bit to do that on Spreaker, and so we appreciate that. A couple new subscribers on Patreon as well if you haven't done that yet. I should mention, for the $5 level now, Ron, we're providing these. So if you're new, all the $5 or more subscribers got these coins. But if you're new, oops, I got it upside down. Ron made these for us, and Ron, appreciate you doing that as well. I've got a couple left. I have 3. Yeah, I think I have 3 left. If you jump in at $5, we'll mail them to you. I promise I figured out the mail system. You won't get charged the postage.
You won't get that nasty gram from the post office that we
Yeah, it does cost me $3 or $4 to get it done.
Yeah.
We'll get it mailed to you. Appreciate your sponsorship on the Patreon side. Ron, thanks for doing that. I don't need any yet. He had pinged me earlier in the week. But for now, if you subscribe at the $5 level, we have a $1 plan if you want to do it that way. But $5 will get you this coin as well. We appreciate you doing that. Join us out in the Discord group as well. We could always use some more traffic out there, and a good place to have a conversation. Head out to theaverageguy.tv/Discord. Guys, I don't make it too difficult. Theaverageguy.tv/Discord. We'll get you in there, and we can join it. Mike, we spent a little time off.
We did.
Kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when it's so weird because you think it's just 2 shows, but really it's 3 weeks of time when you take 2 weeks off of the show.
You kind of forget. I kind of forget. You don't have to worry about this. You've got the glory job here. You show up on Thursday, get hammered while we podcast, and then you just go to bed, right?
Yeah, that's pretty true. Pretty easy job here.
I have the same relationship with Dave Jackson on Saturday mornings. I show up to his podcast.
Get hammered at 9 in the morning, and then 9 o'clock, and then go to bed. Same
mimosas and whatever else, whiskey sours, whatever else you drink on a Saturday morning. A lot of coffee, just to be honest. But Dave does all the work. So for me, basically, we get done with the podcast. As soon as we do the post show and we're done, I give it a few minutes. It usually renders for me on YouTube about that time. And then I download it and start doing all the processing. There's a whole bunch of things you got to get it done. I got to get into Movie Maker so I can do the edits on it, this and that, and get all these things done. So then by Friday, most of it's rendered and done and whatever. And so I start uploading at places. Takes a while to get those things there. Saturday, I usually write the show notes and they get it posted sometime Saturday morning. Takes 5 or 6 hours to get each one of these podcasts done. It's just a 6-to-1 ratio kind of deal. Taking 2 weeks off, it was kind of nice I got to spend a little more time at Havana, which was super great. That worked out as well.
We should have known that's where you would have been.
Right? Havana's our cigar shop, by the way. Yeah. And if you're wondering. And then but it was nice. It was nice, refreshing. I did spend a little time reaching out to some potential guests here for the future. So I took that time to kind of load some of those up, and Mike, just rest was kind of nice.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
the rest. That was a big thing for us as we were, 4th of July weekend obviously is always hectic. You're with family and friends and it's a bunch of time, but the week before that was great just to kind of take that week and enjoy a Thursday night. Hannah didn't know what to do with me though on a Thursday night. She's like, "Why are you up here?"
What?
Can you go back downstairs for a little bit?
Let's go pretend.
These are my nights, she says.
Well, it was nice. I had 4th of July was one of those nights. So we didn't, it's a big U.S. holiday, throwing off the shackles of the ruthless Great Britain. And but it also was the week before. It was just kind of, I'm not going to lie, it was just kind of soul healing to kind of not have to worry about. And listen, I really love what we do here. This is some of the most fun that I ever have is coming on, but grinding through 407 shows, it's a lot after a while. It was just nice to take a break, get kind of a renewed interest in it. It did give me the opportunity to look at 2 different platforms. So one is what we're doing right now on video. So if you're watching or listening to the audio of this in your car, you might want to come out to the YouTube channel, take a look. We are using StreamYard. Dave Jackson and I have been using this for, the last 6 or 7 weeks on Ask the Podcast Coach. I just recently started using it on at the Gallup studios for the Gallup podcast that we're doing, and it's gotten really good reviews. You can one of the really cool things. So we've got split screen capabilities. I can also get a little bit wider look. So this is kind of the 16:9 look. The whole studios are in a lot of black. Mike says kind of a lot of black on the screens when I do it this way. There's some other options to move the guests around and such. I can go big screen here. Mike is small screen on that one. I can share my screen, and that's got a couple different options. When we share screens, actually Mike and I go small and then move over to the left-hand side. I guess that's over here now. And I don't know, I'm backwards, you're backwards. I don't know. We're forwards. We're forward to all you guys. Yeah.
You're on the left. Yeah, when I point to my right.
I think it goes this way.
There you go.
So some new capabilities in StreamYard. Pretty cool. So far on the free plan, and has been really, really cool. I can't imagine not continuing to use this. I'm hoping it'll continue to improve it. It is basically a replacement for OBS or for some service that would plug directly into YouTube Live. And so it's drop dead simple. I send a StreamYard link to Mike and say, "Hey, join me."
It was dead simple, right? And then you don't have the overhead of OBS on your side. We're not having to connect Skype and do screen capture, all of that jazz you have to do. So, is this a direct just to YouTube, or do they have other destinations you could go to if you wanted to? Like, can this go to Twitch or anything like that? Or is it just YouTube?
No, actually, they've got a bunch of different places you can go. Facebook. Let me actually look that up. So StreamYard. Hopefully, this won't kick me off when I do this. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't tempt fate while I'm doing that. But yeah, a bunch of different, and I think definitely Facebook and YouTube are there. Let me look.
I can look it up on mine.
Let me look on this. Hold on one second. StreamYard. So the thing, one of the cool things about it is you're able to also bring in the chat. So like Ron says, wow, everyone's going to StreamYard. And you can bring that chat in on the screen, which is really, really nice. Picture whatever you had in YouTube is there. And Quizmo says, good evening, guys. Happy to have you back after 2 weeks off. Well, it's glad to be back. So I like the audience interaction that we get here, being able to bring kind of the chat room in. So far, so good. They have I think it's a $20 or $25 a month plan that allows you kind of the premium. You could brand it. You could take this powered by StreamYard off of there. I don't, for what we do, Mike, I don't know if I need much more.
Yeah.
I did download OBS in the interim, those 2 weeks, and tried it out. It's as complicated as everybody says it was, and not knocking it. It's super cool and a lot of capabilities in it.
Yeah.
Learning curve's a little steep.
When you first get into it, definitely a little steep. It starts to make sense pretty quick, but even then, it's going to be a lot more complicated than just firing up a browser and doing this. This works great. And for what you and I do, we don't need anything more complicated than this, right? OBS is great for if you're streaming games and all of that, but for just a talking head podcast, we just need to see us both. This works. Yeah. Yeah. And, anytime you're like, one of the great things about this really generous free plan, like as much as you want for free, basically what we're doing here right now, for the most part, free, connects to, like I said, YouTube or Facebook. YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, or your own custom RTMP stream.
Mm-hmm. RTM, could I do that into SiteHound? Could I be broadcasting into SiteHound? And
that's RTSP.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. A little bit different.
Good to know. So I think I'm going to land here for now. At work, I'll probably pay for the premium. Here, we'll probably just use the free version. I can't imagine why we'd want to do anything different, at least at this point. Not imminent on YouTube going away, or not Hangouts going away, at least at this point. We know they're going away at some point. So good switch. So it was a good couple weeks, 2 weeks productive. I also found while we were kind of on vacation and I was messing around with stuff, this actually came from one of my high school students, and it's actually in all the podcasting group. I just kind of missed it, but a service called Otter. So OTTER, otter.ai. Really, they're a transcription service. You can feed the MP3 files into them, and they're generous as well. 600 minutes a month on their free plan. The premium, again, $20 a month. So again, not terribly expensive. I could probably afford both of that with the Patreon subscribers, what they pay to do that. And it does, Mike, it does just a bang up job of transcriptions. It was hard for me to believe how good it was. So load the first file in, it attempts to then separate speakers. So it'll say speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 1, speaker 2, or it attempts to at least separate those. Then you do a little training. So you go in there and you change some words and you move some things around and you tell it, you separate who's speaking and when. You tag it. So this is me, this is Mike. Here, I'll just, just while we're talking about it, you can do screen sharing here on this. So let me open up this. Let's do the application. Well, let me share that. Yeah, right there. So let's share that. And then, okay. So you can see how now share screen, Mike and I go over to the left-hand side, small. But you can see Home Gadget Geeks right here. This was 406, and then this is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, right? You can kind of see the transcriptions. There's me. There's Mike. Me again. Ron joined us on 406. So Ron didn't show up, and I did 407 the first time, Mike. And then I kind of trained it on our two voices. And then when I came and loaded this one, 406, it recognized me and it recognized you, and it put speaker 1 as Ron because it didn't recognize it. So I went through and found some long spots where Ron was talking and just tagged Ron in here. Here's a long section here. He was talking a little bit.
And how long is it going to take to spit this out for you? So you upload the MP3. I mean, I'm looking here. This is the full transcription. Is this an hour, a few minutes?
Yeah. No, about 20 25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it goes pretty fast. And the accuracy is crazy good. It's so good. It accurately gets when I do things wrong. When I say things wrong, it gets it, and it spells them weird. And if I say I just said it puts that in 3 times. Right?
It just does it straight. Does not, he's not trying to correct this for publication or
for grammar. No. It's really just trying to do full transcripts. And you can see in this statement here, like Ron said, I've seen printers for up to 1,000, even more. Okay. For the home user, it seems some as low as $200. Like, it gets that. I didn't fix that. It did these. It did these. I believe it's 1,400. Now, for some reason, it didn't put the $sign in front of the 1,400, where it did the 700 and the 799 and the 1,000, right? And so it's really making some efforts to get things correct in here. So we're going to continue to use that. I think at this point, I'm going to continue starting with this episode. We're going to feed those in. I want to continue, because I'm going to do this at Gallup. I want to continue to kind of figure some of this stuff out. Pretty cool. I don't think this audience, Mike, is that keen to getting transcripts. I don't know. You can tell me, Jim at theaverageguy.tv, if you're happy I'm finally including transcripts. That's a big deal on the Gallup side. But Mike, do you think our audience cares much about transcripts?
So is the plan then, are you still going to have the regular show notes like up top, and then if you scroll down, then the full transcript will be there?
Yep.
I think that's great. I think it's the best of both worlds. I do think it'll help with, if someone's really trying to find something we talked about, like a detail, especially if they just go out to the Average Guy website, they click on the episode, then they can, Control F and try and really find it. I think that's helpful. And it definitely helps for SEO purposes.
Yeah.
So having that entire transcription in there helps a lot.
Yeah. And the transcript, because they're kind of long, there won't be a lot of spaces in there. But like Mike said, a Control F and then search for that term, probably the best way. Probably the best way to go through about
the website and doing it there in the browser would probably be the best way, I would guess.
Yeah. I might even include the link. Maybe I'll do this. So the regular show notes, and then I'll say transcriptions provided by Otter.ai, and I'll put the link back to Otter.ai, where you can, on the site, if you go there, you can play it and watch the words move along like karaoke. And that might be interesting as well. Just an opportunity for you.
My new thing, like when I used to watch the miner for Burstcoin, it's almost like the lot. You can just watch it as it goes along. One of the other the main podcasts I listen to, and this wouldn't apply too much to us because we don't do too many links to things. But one of the podcasts I listened to, they actually ended up saying, here's all of our show notes, not transcription, but show notes. And you could subscribe to it and get it in your inbox as soon as we've released the episode. And at first I was like, why would anyone want that? I don't really, if I want the show notes, I can go. But man, I tell you, I'm listening on the drive to work, and then I show up to work and it's in my inbox, and I'm like, what was that thing they were talking about? And I click on the email. There it is. There's the links. Boom. I'm there. Yeah. Because you always think, oh, I'll go back and I'll go look at that link later. And then you kind of never remember. So that email is kind of a nice reminder, and then it's available to you, because a lot of times when you're driving, you don't have the ability to go be clicking on links and finding things. So I thought that was actually a decent idea for if you have the type of show notes where there's a lot of links that people are going to be clicking on.
Yeah. Well, if you're interested in getting an email of the show notes for everything we do, send me an email. Let me know, Jim@theaverageguy.tv. I guess if I got enough people interested in that's just a little plugin that you use whenever you publish it automatically. I guess I could tie that into my MailChimp.
Yeah, it's just a MailChimp, right? Yeah. Just copy and paste in a MailChimp.
I think it is.
Scheduling that to go out, right as the other one's released, right as the podcast is released.
I know.
Yeah, it probably takes not that long at all. No. It's not even format. There's no extra stuff in there. It's just the show notes in an email.
Yeah. No, that may be interesting. I've got a list of listeners that we've had for, I used to send out little notes to everybody. But if you'd like the show notes in the form of an email, maybe that'd be kind of cool. Send me an email, Jim@theaverageguy.tv, and let me know. And we can talk about it. I want to thank Kevin Schoonover. He sent us. He was out at a conference or something, and they had microbits. We didn't get them in the retail box, which is kind of interesting. So microbits has been and is a really popular kind of microcontroller. Allows you, there's all kinds of peripherals for this kind of thing. I think of it like a Raspberry Pi, but even smaller. Kind of designed for kind of high school.
Kind of
Say it
thing.
again. Yeah, like Arduino.
Okay.
Yeah, just like it. This comes with a battery pack, some batteries, USB port to plug into so you can power the board, and then you can program it. And there's some programming stuff that you can do, and then you can buy components for it. And it's a great way to learn code.
I was going to say, this is something like you and like me and Emmett, right? Could start a bunch of fun with.
Yeah.
I'm excited. That'll be cool.
Yeah. I have one. There's actually one sitting right above my head right there that I bought a year or so ago in the retail box right there. If you can see it on the video. Kevin, thanks. He sent over two. Mike, I owe you some things. I need to bring the coins over to you. I got to bring these micro bits. I got to smoke a cigar with you.
He's going to come to my house and bring all the goodies.
Santa is arriving there. So Kevin, thanks for sending those over. I tell you what, Mike, I'm getting the itch on this robot lawnmower again. And enough guys and gals have said, no, it's no gals. It's just guys. Enough guys, just trying to be inclusive, have said to me like, hey, you going to do that thing? So during the time off, I started looking into, I was like, okay, what's it going to take for me? Because really the drivetrain is the hardest thing to do on this car to get it going. And I need a pretty good, again, I got this 20-inch Black & Decker electric mower. It'd be perfect for it. And what I thought I would do is get a wheelchair that had the joystick controller on it. Cause I need those wheels to move, right? That's what I need. I need the big wheels to move. The front would be on a swivel so they can go anywhere, and the back wheels will drive it. And then I have to wire that. I have to take it apart. So
yeah, you need those main wheels to move.
I do.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah. So I found a wheelchair not too far from here, $100. That would do it. Yeah. So I haven't pulled the trigger on it. It was a Facebook. I figured I'd find it again if I needed it. But I was kind of thinking like, okay, maybe at first I was looking, they were $600, $700, $800, $900 for these power control units. But if I can find like a wheelchair where the chair itself is kind of destroyed, but the actual components are still working, that might be the perfect place. And then of course I'm going to have to pull that thing apart and figure out how to kind of modify it, right? Can that be done? Is it possible? There's a little bit of work to do, so I'm kind of,
this would be cool though. This is gonna be like your version of a guy who has like a Mustang in his garage that he just always goes out to and tinkers with and plays with. And, in a year's time, you could have this thing up and running.
I know. Yeah. Well, the weird thing is I can actually see the components. Like I can see how to make it work based on what I was looking at from a parts perspective.
Okay.
The question of it's like, can I actually put those parts together and make them work? That would be the key. Like, do I have the right tools I'm going to have to do? Most of the components are plastic, so I can use some Gorilla Glue and some super glue to kind of make some of those parts work. I may have to kind of build some components or bolt them on or some of those kinds of things. I don't have a lot of things to fabricate metal parts here, so that kind of becomes an issue, and I don't have a lot of things to do that with. So that's been a little hesitant because if I need to create, holders or reinforce things, don't have a lot of that here.
Right.
So
that 3D printer comes in handy.
Yeah. Well, and for the drivetrain, I think I would need to probably metal reinforce that since
You're right.
Today it's meant to be pushed. And so all that, although if I could do that, there's significant reinforcement around where the handle goes into the bed. And if I could maximize that in some way and then basically cut that to set then the deck on top of those wheels. Okay, once I've got that and the front wheels replaced so they swivel, like we're off to the races.
Yeah, you're getting pretty close at that point. Yeah,
we're off to the races at that point. So I just didn't realize I could probably get one of those for $100.
I wouldn't have thought that either. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of what you need for $100.
Yeah. And I'm going to pay a bunch for some other things. So I have to replace the batteries. I got some.
You could have just bought the Husqvarna, but what's the fun in that? Where's the challenge?
The Husqvarna is a wimp.
Yeah.
Like it's.
And the yards I've seen with it, if you have any incline at all or any I call them moguls, any kind of mounds in your yard, man, it just does a terrible job.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've seen too is, it's probably something that if they have the option for expert installation on the wiring, the perimeter, I'd probably take them up on it. Cause man, most of the yards I've seen are just, they have like tall grass right around the outside. And at that point, what do you even do? Like if you have to get out there anyway and go mow this tiny little patch, not worth the price you're going to pay for the mower.
Yeah. Well, so I'm thinking about it again. This is one of those things where it's kind of like, well, okay.
It'd be fun. It'd be a lot of fun. You'd have a blast with it once you got in it.
Yeah. Here's I'm going to buy $3,000 worth of tools to build this.
Hey, but tools are great to have, right? That's never a bad purchase. Hannah and I have always agreed on that. Like if you need a tool for a job that you're doing, just go out and get it because you're going to use that tool in the future.
I know. I need to clean up my garage is what I need to do because like I'm to the point I can't find some things now, and
yeah,
I kind of need a better tool solution too. That's one of those things in the garage.
Pegboard, right?
I don't have a pegboard. I have shelves. Yeah, I have shelves, and so it's a little messy. I need to just purge in general. So I probably just need a weekend. I got some crap that just needs to go, and I need to get down to the bare minimum, and then start building on this thing.
Kind of a garage sale that'll raise. That's your seed funding, right? At your first round,
it makes $7. Spend all day Saturday trying to sell garbage and make $7.
Hey,
I'd rather just throw it away. To be totally and completely honest with you. So, well, we'll see. Keep you guys posted. It got me thinking again. I'm coming back around in the fall, and this is kind of when we birthed this plan with some of my high schoolers, kind of based on I wanted a project to work on as well, and I got some things to do. So, and with as boring as tech has gotten, as we've said in 407, as boring as tech has gotten, maybe there's something that'll jumpstart the process, and we'll be better with it. Mike, Prime Day is coming up. 2 days, July 15th and 16th, here in the United States. Is that just a US thing, or is that Prime for everywhere Amazon?
I think it's everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So starts July 15th. Have you gone out and looked at any of the deals that you eyeing anything out there yet?
I've been trying to stay away, Jim. I've been trying to stay away from looking at the Prime deals. There's always something that'll get me on the day that I didn't think I need. I am looking for a new battery pack. So, one of those Anchor branded or whatever. Anchor is my favorite brand, USB battery pack. I seem to always need two, and I've always only had one. So a big one that has a lot of power to it, something you can take camping. I've been really into getting stuff for my vehicle for you could call it prepper-ish sort of stuff. So like a first aid kit, right? Like a trauma kit almost. And having that. So I got one for my Jeep and I have it strapped right to the front seat. Because I always used to put them in the back and I'm like, okay, if I get in a wreck or something and I'm pinned in here, or if I need to get it right there, my leg, I need a tourniquet. So my trauma kit has a tourniquet in it, all that stuff. So some things like that are kind of these rare kind of one-offs. So if they show up on Prime Day, I'll probably end up grabbing another one. There's been some items like that. It's odd. Tech space, though, I haven't had a need for anything lately. Everything's running pretty well. I would love to start speccing out another machine. So I've been thinking about building out another one, especially because, we've talked about this. All the machines I have are built off super old hardware. Like I do not have anything modern except for like our laptop is a 3-year-old MacBook Pro, really good machine, right? My iMac that I'm using to podcast like this, that's a 2013, I think. iMac still runs great, but I kind of want a new motherboard, something with an M.2 slot. I haven't even played with a motherboard, Jim, that has an M.2 slot for that kind of SSD. So, playing around with stuff like that. So if those parts start to show up cheap on Prime Day, I'm thinking if I just do a slow buy them as I need them over the next few months instead of doing it all at once, could be a good way to do it. So those are the sort of things I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, it's good. If you've been listening to Dave McCabe over at Reset, reset.fm, he's been doing a little gamer build, and he kind of highlighted it the show before. And then in his most recent show, he talked a little bit about what he built. And I I think we're on the cusp of some really cool hardware that's out there, especially around motherboards.
Yeah.
And man, I think you can just get some lightning fast stuff at this point.
Oh, you can, especially now with the new Ryzen chips that just came out. I would love to do a Ryzen build. I think, I haven't been in the Discord in the last day, but I think there's actually some talk in there, some guys doing some Ryzen builds. Actually, I think it was Ryan maybe who was doing a Ryzen build. So really excited to get in there and start playing around.
Is that in the gaming? You guys talking about that in the gaming section on Discord or hardware?
Honestly, I was getting some notifications and I haven't had time today to jump in there and see what section they're putting that in. And maybe that wasn't even it. Maybe I was saying something else. But
the hardware section, I think that's where some of them Ryan is mentioning that in there. I'm seeing some pictures of the Ryzen in there. So if you want to pop in the Discord group, if you're interested in jumping in on that, I too have been tempted, Mike. It's just like, ooh, maybe if this is the time, and if not now, maybe towards the end of the summer, maybe a good time. Summer here in the United States.
Yeah.
So August.
Well, right now, those new Ryzen chips are pretty much, they're hard to come by now. I think 3700 series, but anything higher than that, I think it's tough to find. Everyone was super excited because this is the first time that, AMD has been ahead of Intel for consumer chips. So it's just, we're in a weird space right now. It'd be a lot of fun to do one of those builds.
Put some of those together.
We're going to see any of that stuff on Prime Day though, just to be honest.
Probably not. Now, if you're thinking about doing that, drop in our hardware group on the Discord channel and let us know what you're building. Love to kind of hear that. I'd love to kind of build a kind of a higher, I've got a Core i7 now, but it's a pretty old i7. Still does this, it'll do this for the next 4 years, as long as it keeps running, right? Well, the odd thing in there is I have 2 1 terabyte SSDs. One is which is really stupid, by the way. One as maybe that's not true. Hold on, let me look. Maybe the OS drive is not a full terabyte. I think because I always, I kind of have a main box that has everything, the best of everything in it, and that's kind of generally what I podcast with, and then everything else is kind of hand me down kind of as they go. So no, I'm not as dumb as I thought it was. So I have must be a 250 gig SSD OS drive, which is great. It's about 100. I have about 100 gig free on it, so it's fine. And then I bought a 1 terabyte SSD that I'd been using for burst writing, burst plotting basically. To kind of use as a buffer and for those SMR drives. And it was kind of not doing anything. So I put it in and have been writing Sighthound video content to it just because it was there, basically. I probably need to put a spinner in, really.
I probably would, because that's heavy writes, right? You're writing constantly. And really not getting any benefit from an SSD in that standpoint.
No benefit. I just didn't have a
drive.
I didn't have what I need to do is buy a
4 terabytes sitting on that shelf right below. But,
multiple 4 terabyte drives.
Right,
dude, they're mining. So get off my back.
They're making me money.
What I need to do is pick up another 2 terabyte drive for the Drobo. That needs a little more space. Then there's a 350 spinner in there. Just take that and throw it in the box. That'd make a great camera, right? Make a great camera spinner drive. You don't need much for that.
No, I have an old school WD Blue 1 terabyte drive that I've been using in Sighthound. And when you're using camera footage, for the most part, you're not too upset if it crashes. Because what were the odds that you had a robbery, you needed the footage, and that's exactly the moment the hard drive decides to put
that would happen to me though.
Yeah, true. but so if it were to go out, you'd be like, oh, okay, I lost the last 30 days of footage. There wasn't any anyway.
No, and I got I have an old 350 gig drive sitting in this Drobo. It was just sitting around. I just threw it in the Drobo because I was out of drives. That can definitely fulfill that.
I just grabbed a new drive for my Unraid box, a 4 terabyte. I was surprised. A Seagate Iron Wolf NAS drive for $95 on Amazon. Not that bad for 4 terabytes. No. So those prices are definitely coming down. I know that if you go WD Red on those, you're looking above 100, maybe 109 to probably 39 if you get the 7200 RPM version. So, and I've heard great things about those Iron Wolf drives. So the Iron Wolf NAS 4 TB drive was sub 100 on Amazon.
Yeah. Well, and I'll be honest, I've been picking up these little 2 TB refurbs, right? They come out of Seagate Barracuda refurbs, $30.
Oh, that's not bad at
So
all.
no,
Right.
no. And it is, and they've worked. I've been buying these for burst. I was buying the 4 TB versions for burst because it was in the sweet spot for a while.
Yep.
3 and 4 TB were in the sweet spot. And I'll be honest, 3 might even be a little bit cheaper if you're looking at price per meg. But $30, hard to beat that. Many of these have free shipping associated with them. So you're talking about 2 TB for $30. Hard. You can't even get a 64 TB flash drive. Well, I guess you can, but
so if your drive bay slots aren't an issue, because that's what I had. I had gotten that routine with my Unraid box because I had, 15 bays to fill up. But actually then I started running into, so I have actually 10 SATA ports on that motherboard, 4 of those being from one of those, the PCI cards that you slide in, non-RAID. So I have 10. So I had gotten used to kind of just, adding a drive. I never thought I would actually get to 10. Just because, I didn't have that much storage needs back then.
Right.
So I was using smaller drives, and now I'm like, if I had been smart, I could have saved some space. True. Now I've used all 10, and I either need to add another PCI card, or an LGA card, or I need to start replacing smaller drives with larger drives, and that's a pain to do.
Yeah, you could probably sell. You're good at this though. You could probably unload those smaller drives and pick up some pretty.
I totally could. If I wanted to go through the process of pulling out the drive, putting in the new one, letting it copy and recreate all the data, it's a pain to do it that way. I'll probably, because I do have, so it's a 15 bay unit. So I'd probably grab one more PCI card that would give me 4 more SATA ports and probably just go from there. Just add 4 more drives because I have enough bays in that chassis to add the drives.
Yeah, it's a tough problem to have, isn't it?
Real tough.
It is pretty ridiculous when I'm looking for 250 gig, not even that, maybe 100 gig worth for the pictures that are coming off my camera in the garage. And and I'm using a 1 terabyte SSD because all my other drives are consumed with burst mining at this point.
We have that problem.
Yeah, that's a pretty lame problem. I won't lie. The Drobo, it's at this point, the Drobo has been loaded with about 2.15 terabytes of drives, right? That consists of, and this is really, the Drobo's kind of gotten everything that's left over. So I have an old 750 gig drive in there. I have a 2 terabyte that I bought just to kind of get some storage in there, a 1 terabyte green, a 500 gig Seagate drive. Who has any of that left? And then I have a 320 gig drive that's still working. Yeah, still working. And I threw that in there and it did okay. It got it a little bit more space. I'm at least at this point, so it has 2.15 terabytes total, about 1.67. Again, I've got my HP Homes or my HP server, microserver is backing up the Moro data box. So I've been working on getting that all done. And then I have a sync that goes between the HP server and the Drobo to get that backed up. So those are always, it's kind of 3, it's got the 3-2-1 stuff.
Right.
That's going on. So the Drobo's got about 490 gig left. So I don't know if I'm in danger of running out of space. I don't know if I really need to spend $30 on a 2 terabyte drive. But Mike, $30 for 2 terabytes.
Sometimes you just
crazy,
right?
Yeah. No, it's just crazy. It's crazy time.
Replace all those drives with one $30 drive.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Did you say it's up to 1 point something total space?
Yeah. It's 1.67 on that drive.
$3 drive, you'd have more space than all those drives.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And if I got another 2 terabyte, it would really blow out on the Drobo. It'd really blow out the space. I would be good for a while at that point. And the plan had been, to be honest, when we stopped doing burst, and I thought I was going to stop doing burst a long time ago.
All those drives over and use them for storage, right?
Yeah, they would all go in the Drobo. I have a bunch of 4 terabyte drives, and I would have put, I think I have 5, and I would have put 4 terabytes in there, and That'd have been a pretty nice Drobo box.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't done that yet because they're still they are still burst mining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just kind of speaks a little bit to kind of the ridiculousness of where hard drive prices have gone. On Prime Day, a couple things that are going on right now. Spend $10 at Whole Foods. Of course, Amazon bought Whole Foods. You can get a $10 Amazon credit, which is pretty great if you haven't tried that. They're really trying to get people to buy the Whole Foods stuff. They're also trying to entice you to do your shopping there. So $25 off Gatorade, Pepsi, Doritos, and more. How can you not get more Gatorade, Pepsi, and Doritos? Like can't run out of those kinds of things, right?
This is the bread and butter. That's what you live on.
From a tech side, right now, Amazon Echo Dots, $25. Ooh, sorry, my Echo now is listening to me, so make sure she's not talking. She's still listening. All right, at least somebody else is listening to the podcast. And then Apple AirPods, $144.99. Which, Mike, I thought those AirPods were a little more expensive.
Yeah, $169.
Is that what they are? I thought they were more in the 200 range.
Depends, no, not that much.
Okay.
I think it depends on if you get the wireless charging case now or not.
Okay. Well, it says the Apple AirPods are the best earbuds for those invested in the Apple ecosystem. Macy's had them for $129 earlier in the week. So This, by the way, it's off Tom's Hardware or tomsguide.com. Macy's had them for $129 earlier in the week. So I think they'll get cheaper on Prime Day. However, they may be hard to find in stock at a lower price.
So I had split the baby. They're not they're $159 with the regular. So this is brand new from apple.com. $159 with just the regular charging case, $199 with the wireless charging case.
Okay.
I do not know how a wireless charging case is worth an extra $40 on headphones. I just don't understand how.
Oh, right on.
If you're all wireless at this point
and
you have a big pad or something like that, maybe. But I was using wireless charging for a while and I kind of gave up on it, to be honest. I have the Anchor stands where you stand it up and you set it in there and it's charging, but depending on what case you use, and then if you go to pick it up to use it, it stops charging. I'm like, just give me back my cord.
Yeah, I'm 100% cord. I've never gone wireless charging. So you might, if you've been holding off for AirPods, you might want to, this may be the time to pick them up. You might see them as low as $100.
Probably my favorite set of, there's a bunch now that do the same functionality. But if you are an iPhone user, especially if you are in the Apple ecosystem, they're just so darn convenient. They work really well.
Oh, totally. The Amazon Fire TV sticks are going to be available for $40. Typically that's $30 off.
I still, though, word of caution to everyone, I cannot recommend those because of the limitation of them in Google. If you use YouTube there's a workaround for YouTube, or if you want to watch YouTube TV, don't get a Fire Stick. It doesn't work. The Google and Amazon still are feuding over that. And, I think YouTube's just so basic, right? And you shouldn't have to have a workaround to watch YouTube on your device.
I mentioned earlier, I didn't know which countries this would be available in. So last year, Prime Day was celebrated in 17 countries. This year, 18, including the US, UK, Spain, Singapore, Netherlands, Luxembourg, Japan, Italy, India, Germany, France, China, wow, Canada, Belgium, Austria, and Australia. In Australia, I didn't think they had Amazon in Australia.
I don't know.
In 2019, Prime Day will expand to the United Arab Emirates for a total of 18 countries. So those are those countries that are available for you. If you're listening in one of those countries, you might want to just watch for those. Mike, I'm kind of with you. There's just not a lot of things I kind of need. It's been an expensive time for my family with my daughter in college and kids doing things. And, I've been redoing some landscaping before we sell this place. And so I've been kind of holding off on the tech, and the tech is just, and I think we alluded to this in 407 when I was kind of saying, get off my lawn, but I think the tech is just lasting longer. Like it doesn't break like it used to, right? Don't you think?
100%. It's the same reason that I'm kind of ready to do a new build because number one, I haven't done one in a while.
Yeah.
And that's because all this hardware, like we've talked about, I mean, my Unraid box, you guys have heard me talk about it a million times, is built off a motherboard from who knows how long ago. I mean, probably from back when I graduated high school.
But it still works, right?
Works great. I have no reason to replace it. Honestly, the functionality, the performance is just fine. So the same. But speaking of deals and new tech, I did get one new piece of tech over the last 2 weeks. That was kind of cool. I don't know, Jim, you're a YouTube TV subscriber, so I don't know if you got the same email.
It ended July 2nd.
Oh, it ended. Okay. Yeah, well, if you were a YouTube TV subscriber and if you were the head of the household, right? So if you're using someone else's and your account's added to their family, you might not have got it. But if you are the main person on the family account, they sent an email for their Google Nest hubs, and they were going to give it to you for $49. And these things are usually $129. They were on sale for $70, I think, in just their Google store. And then if you were a YouTube TV person, you get them for $49 or $45, so something really cheap, maybe even 40. It was like 40 or between 40 and 50. I didn't have a need for one of these. Obviously, you guys know that I'm an Alexa house. Sorry, I'm just activating, and I just activated my own. We're an Amazon house. We use them. But I was like, you can't turn down that good of a deal, right? Especially to try it out. Now, the Google Nest Hub is the one with it's smaller, but it still has the screen on it. So you've got a screen. And so, if you need to watch YouTube videos, so putting it in the kitchen's a perfect place. And so I've really been having fun testing out the Google capabilities. So comparing Google Assistant to A Lady or Amazon and really seeing which one's better. Man, Jim, I don't know if you have used a Google product or a Google Assistant lately. They are just, they're pretty good, right?
I've heard that.
You are not concerned about privacy because that's been the one reason I've been wanting to unplug it. It's because this is just now I do have, because we had no Google product in the house because we don't use Android phones. Obviously we use Google Chrome, but besides that, we had no device that could be listening to us from Google, and now we do. But man, the thing is so cool. So Jim, you got me into using Google Photos, right? Because it just backs up. It's almost like a backup for our iPhone. So while it's just sitting there, it's scrolling through my Google Photos. And when I selected an album, we did a smart album, and I just clicked me, Hannah, Harrison, Emmett, and it just pulls any photo that I have in there that has us in there. I mean, it's super cool. So Emmett gets up on the counter and he just now watches the photos, and he knows that if he goes like this, it'll change the photo to something he's never, and he just sits there and he'll just swipe. Oh, it's my daddy. I'm like, yeah, it's me. Look at that. And stuff like that. So it's actually a really cool device. My favorite thing has been saying like, Google, how do I hard boil an egg? And she pops up a YouTube video and it just shows me right there, like no extra work needed. So first of all, it's my first assistant with a screen. I do not have any of the Amazon devices that have a screen. Now I kind of want to try one, to be honest, to see how they work. So it's my first assistant with a screen. We have a bunch of assistants around the house. I probably have 6 Echo devices around the house. None of them, though, have the screen. All of them are the dots, except for the one main Echo that's in our kitchen. And so it's been kind of nice to test out the two and to really compare Google versus Alexa. And like I said, if you're not worried about security for any reason, Jim, it's not even a competition anymore. Like that's what I've heard. Assistant is just hands down better in almost all ways. Now, I will say, when it comes to smart home, Amazon has made that a million times easier than any other service. Just to get some lights set up and some main things on the Google, it was complicated. It was convoluted. There was no easy way to do it. You couldn't just have her discover smart devices around your house. It was hard. So Amazon has done a great job with connected home and smart home. But when it comes to actual assistant tasks, that's where Google really shines.
I'm going to have to pick up. I think maybe I'll keep my eyes open, and there's deals all the time for $30 or $25 Google, the Google devices to get one on the desk here. I mean, I bought this other device that I have down. I won't say the name because it'll come on.
Yeah.
And been great having it down here. She turns my studio lights on, and we have the intercom system going. Yep. And right. I mean, I get notifications when boxes are here. That's really key on Saturdays because we get our HelloFresh.
How do you get the announcement for that?
So whenever, well, it just the yellow light goes around whenever whenever. Well, I guess no, maybe we don't for HelloFresh because that's not
But for anything, I don't know if I've set up that
it's not,
feature.
that's
For
let's
Amazon
see.
packages, maybe.
Maybe it just is for Amazon packages.
I don't even
that
have
I'm
that
thinking
set up.
about.
That's kind of cool. That's one thing I didn't know you could do.
Yeah, no, I bet there is. I bet there is a way to set that up though.
Yeah,
for
I
other
would.
services.
Yeah, try one. The screen was kind of a game changer. Now I'm really wondering if I had one of the Amazon devices with the screen, if that would make as much of a difference to me. It was kind of cool having that extra form of input, or actually,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Get one with a screen. Like I need one more screen down here.
well, true. That's true.
No,
Down there,
I
probably
do.
makes sense. In a kitchen, it is awesome. It is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I'd kind of like to get in the kitchen both a Google and an Amazon device in there with screens on both of them. I don't think it's an overkill to have both, to be honest, because there are some that do better things than others. And I'd like to get the tube with the speaker moved into our bedroom so that I can play music there. And I could buy one of the smaller ones and plug some speakers into it, but I don't want it's a bedroom. I don't want to plug speakers in. Just want it to play freaking music.
Yeah.
Right. So that's really what I should concentrate on. Listen to me. I'm saying there's no such thing, no new tech, and now I'm like, oh, I'll buy all this stuff. I should be looking for one of those for both of those devices. I was kind of hoping, and actually some of this you can just do off the PC as well. And so there may be the Google Assistant. I've been messing around with some other hardware on that, but I have to give it a try. Joe says, let's see. Joe had said earlier, Mike, supposedly the YouTube app is coming back.
Yeah. And I was wondering, so I asked him, I think he tried to send a link to, and I don't think the link came through in our chat, but I asked him if it was the YouTube one, or sorry, YouTube TV as well as just YouTube. So, if it's coming back, I've got 4 of those things in a drawer. So could it really help me out if it does?
Yeah. Well, while you were talking, a 2 terabyte drive is on the way.
Took a lot of convincing, man. You're on the fence.
Hey, it was $30.
It's true. It's $30.
It's on sale. They're typically the price point for 2 terabytes right now is that 35 to 40 kind of on eBay. If you're in that space, that's kind of where the 2-3 terabytes are.
Yep.
40 to 45. The 4 terabytes are, 40 to 50, somewhere in there.
And so refurbished, you said, right?
It's a refurb. Yeah. Yeah. For $30. Like as long as the thing freaking works.
Oh yeah.
I bought from this vendor before and they do returns pretty easily. So I've had one come and it was bad. So yeah, 2 terabytes, swap that out, get that 350 moved over to the box, turn that into the camera repository. And I did start looking for more Wi-Fi cameras that I could use with Sighthound. Like I'm kind of getting to that point where like I kind of like to bring it all into one control panel.
Right.
I've got some Zmoto stuff. I've got Sighthound, I've got the D-Link stuff. And I'm not ready to go Ring or any of those things just yet. So I've been I looked at some refurb. Remember those D-Links that we bought? The D-Links, let's see.
Those work just fine.
Yeah, let's see what the number on those things were. There's a model 936, I want to say. The DCS 936. Those are like 27 or $30 right now. You can get, they're not really production anymore, but man, that has been a solid member. That's the one that's kind of on a hinge.
Yeah. And
so you can mount it.
I had mine outdoors, Jim, since we bought it. It's not getting wet, right? It's under my back patio, but it's been exposed to the extreme cold we've had here and the heat, and it's done just fine. I'm trying to look up the brand. I'm forgetting the brand I just bought. I know they have wireless ones, and it's been great with Sighthound. It'll show up here eventually. Yeah,
well, I've been considering going back and getting, because the front door, like the Zmoto one we got for the front door has kind of quit. I mean, it works, but the notification pieces have kind of stopped working for us. And so I haven't done any troubleshooting.
That's when it has its own hub. It will not connect to Sighthound.
No, correct. Yeah, no, I can't get that. So it's in the app, and we get notifications every once in a while. Give us a notification, and nothing is there. You're like, oh, hey, a box came. No, it didn't. I kind of use it as a deterrent. It sits right in the window where everybody can see it, and the light is on all the time on it, and so you can see there's a camera in the window, and I think that by itself is enough to maybe deter people if they were going to come steal boxes. You also got to come all the way up a hill to come to my house and get to my front porch and walk up the steps. I mean, it's a little bit of a journey. You're going to Frodo this thing if you're going to get up there and get the box.
I mean, the whole thing with home security is all you need to do is make your next door neighbor's house be more appealing than yours, right? Like just deterrence. You just can't be the one. It's got to be difficult enough that they choose your neighbor over you. That's all you got. Reolink is who I was thinking of. So Reolink has some good ones. Their wireless ones have good range, but they have good range because their antennas are super ugly. They're kind of the big, tall antennas that stick out, but still great cameras. You know, the thing for me though, Jim, has been a lot of times if you're going to run one of these cameras, you got to get power to it anyway. And so why not do a PoE cam? You know, if I'm going to have to run a wire or get it, if you want it to look nice, right? If you're going to mount it, I could probably figure out a way, you know, then to get a Ethernet cable, easy, run it through and get it down to a PoE switch. And they sell those like 5-port PoE switches from TP-Link for super cheap, like $30. I have actually one in my attic. So I just have a 5-port PoE switch up there. That just, you know, that's all of my cameras then are in the eaves. They just run up into the attic and all they have to do is plug into that one switch up there. And there's one cable that runs down from that switch down to my basement server rack. And it works pretty well.
Yeah. No, it's a good way to get it done.
More reliable too, right? You're not dealing with the, you know, image quality of wireless.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the one benefit to this Z-Moto camera that I have on the front, never giving us an alert, is the battery lasts forever.
Oh, it's still going.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How often do you have to charge that thing?
Once a quarter, maybe every 3 months. No, it's not bad. In fact, the current battery, I didn't bring my phone down here. Oh yeah, here it is. The current battery has been going for a lot longer because it stopped giving us it's completely stopped giving us alerts.
Right.
And so the only time that camera comes on is when we go for a live view of it. And then just the other day, both Sarah and I got a alert like, hey, there's movement at your front door. And we looked at it and there was nothing there. Like no cat, not Smudge. Smudge is our neighbor's cat. He kind of owns the neighborhood. No Smudge, no nothing. And we're like, what? And then, you know, and then it didn't go again. I mean, I haven't gotten an alert in a while. So
weird.
Yeah, it's a good little camera. I probably need to spend some time troubleshooting it. I also bought the Z-Moto, the one that sits on a base and it rotates almost 300 around. It's got some motion detection. I could never get that working solidly either. And I ended up unplugging it, and it's sitting up on the dresser up there. And it was like, do I want to, I want these things. The D-Link one, man, I just plug it in. It just freaking works.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Sighthound has been doing some good upgrades too. They're actually, if you're going to try for free, you can go out and grab their beta. So they have actually at the start of each month since the beginning of May. So May, June, July, we're on our third beta. So each month they release a new version of it. A lot more in terms of, saving processing power. They now have animal detection. So when you're selecting what you want to see or what you want to get alerts for, it can be, like cars, people, animals. It's just another thing it's being able to detect against. But Nosen's been doing a pretty good job because I would always get false alerts in my backyard because PD with the dog door, he goes outside in the backyard and he would always trigger it and always thought it was a person. But now it's actually really good at saying, nope, that's an animal. So I only set alerts for humans, and then it's eliminated a lot of those false positives. So if you haven't checked it out, they are, once they come out of beta, because they had such a long release for this last version. I mean, this last version was talked about for forever. And the way Sighthound works is, if you want to, you can pay $50 a year to get updates and support. Well, last year there weren't any big updates. So they said, okay, we're going to give you guys all another year. So just wait till it comes out. We'll reset everyone. So if you purchased a service pack or an update pack last year, anytime in 2018, then you're going to be good for another year. They'll extend it.
Mine is out of
mine. Mine's expired as well, but don't buy it anymore. Don't re-up it because they'll redo it for you once they're out of beta.
Okay. So, but they're saying right now my renewal price is just $12 if I buy basic at this point, $50 for pro.
Yep. I mean, that's the normal price.
Okay.
12 is for, you're right. If you have basic, because basic is just 2 cameras in HD, I believe.
Yeah.
Pro's unlimited.
But you're saying I should hold off regardless?
Yes. Hold off regardless.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
They're going to give everyone, as long as you purchased that sometime in 2018, last year.
I think I did.
You did?
Yeah.
They're
when
going
we first started talking about these. Yeah.
They're going to re-up.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll hold off. I'm getting that red notification on the site. That's actually good to know, Mike, because it says renew. And I was like, am I going to do that? I don't know. Okay. That'll save me $12.
Grab the beta. So go out, grab it just installs right over your old one. You might as well.
Okay.
So go out to SiteHound, log into your account is how you get there. And if you scroll down when you log in, it'll have your download options and you can download the beta.
Okay. Sounds good. Yep. I see. So it says downloads. So I can click on that link, and then there's the beta. Do I need to go?
You have to go to your account page. So you have to log. Did you log in? Yeah, you have to log into your account. Yep, okay. At the bottom there.
Cool. I have to give that a whirl maybe after the show.
Yeah.
When we are done.
It's one of those like odd releases though, where the UI doesn't change, and you're like, oh, a big upgrade, the next big version. I've been waiting for this for a year. I was like, oh, well, it doesn't look like anything changed, but a lot under the hood was done.
One more update to the Bitdefender box. If you've been listening to the show for any length of time, you know I bought that. I've had V1 and now I have V2. And oftentimes vendors build these things and they make some promises like, oh, we're going to continually update this Google Hog, which they never did, by the way. They never upgraded that thing. They put all this hardware in there. They never did anything with it. I ended up giving it to my son. It works really well as a wireless router for him, but moved to the Bitdefender box. This week, they sent me an email. It's super cool when you see these kinds of things that come out. So it said, when you said we wanted the power to customize the Wi-Fi settings of your Bitdefender box, we went immediately to work. And here we are today with software update that not only gives you more control of your Wi-Fi, but also protects your children better, thanks to the new parental control features that enable safety measures across the entire home network. Here's what you can do now. So you can now split the frequency band. Now you can choose between 2 wireless frequencies in your Bitdefender box. You can split them under different names or choose and use different passwords. So pretty cool. Select the wireless channel you want to use. Select less crowded channels and minimize the risk of overlapping signals, interference, and network slowdowns. You can make your router invisible to others. That's nothing new. Didn't exist in it before, so they finally caught up with that one. Enable or disable. This is kind of cool. Enable or disable Wi-Fi and change the password remotely. So you can do that from the app now internally. Get that done if you need to make those changes and you're away. You can get that all done through the app that's available. And then I think this is kind of cool. You can enforce parental control rules across multiple connected devices. In what sometimes your kids will do. So say they have one device and you've locked that device down. They'll just join it with another device.
Yeah.
Right? They'll just, I get past you. And a device you don't know about can join the network. And if you have pfSense and some of those other things, you can send some rules to say, hey, any new devices that are added, block immediately. But of course, then every time your friends come over, that is getting done. Also, kids have more and more and more devices.
Yeah. And
so initially it was harder to do that kind of administration on this Bitdefender box, but they have since fixed that. So I don't know if anybody else bought this along with me. It has been a good little wireless router. And I'll be honest, my wife plays these games on her Android phone and they're constantly pinging me saying, hey, we're blocking some phishing attempts from those games. Real or not, I feel safer knowing that box is blocking for me. So some updates going on at Bitdefender. They have been a good little box for me. It's been out a while now. No V3 that I've heard of coming, at least at this point. But, we burned through these. I had a buddy who was having some trouble with his Wi-Fi router. And I said, what do you get? And it was like this $35 Netgear, and he runs a whole bunch of traffic through it. I'm like, yeah, those don't last very long. Let me just tell you, you get about a year.
They're new, to be honest.
Yeah.
I have become such a router snob, Jim.
Yeah.
when it comes to, well, it's just because once I've seen the power of a beefy, good router and all the problems it eliminates, like how many times have I had to go down and reset my router? 0 in the last few years, just because once you have something that works, like a PF Sense, or right now I'm using Untangle. I had the same thing with Untangle though. I had, I don't know what Hannah's been visiting, but her device is getting pinged by malware site blockage. So I think some websites she'll go to.
It's a game. It's a game. I'm sure it's a game.
Probably is something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. What's super cool, let me read this Enforce parental controls one more time. So identify unknown devices that connect to your Wi-Fi and pause internet connectivity until you figure out who they belong to, which is kind of cool. You can do that through PF Sense, but you can do this all on the app, which is super cool. With this update, these decisions move to the network level, so you can block unwanted content on TV sets, smartphones, tablets, and even freeloading smart fridges and smart mirrors. I didn't realize.
Oh,
Do we have smart mirrors out there now?
Really?
We must.
Maybe those
IoT devices.
TVs in them. Wow.
Yeah. Plus, you can now block access to certain domains, such as Facebook.com. Yikes! That they mentioned that's the one that they mentioned across all devices assigned to your child's account. Read more about it in their posts. So, adding if you're dealing with kind of internet security for your kids, this maybe. I don't think up until this release it was really ready for that, but I think they're getting to that point now where you can get some granularity and maybe protect your kids a little bit. And so if you're struggling with that, so worth looking into. Ironically, I don't have any kids at home, and I don't care. My daughter's 20. I don't care what she's looking at. So I'm not as concerned. I tell you what I am concerned about. I'm concerned about all this freaking phishing stuff that's going on. And I don't want, I tell Sarah not to do these things, but apparently she's going to do them anyways. And so it helps block those things and keeps us safe.
My biggest thing is the malware. Because to be honest, I think even once my kids are older, if you don't want them to access that stuff, don't give them the device. Because now there's LTE, they just have a buddy come over and he can turn on, he can share his data with it. Like, you're never going to stop your kid from getting to be on what he wants to be on. Your neighbor's Wi-Fi, there's probably one unlocked he can hop on at some point. Like, but it's so don't give them the device. But really, the malware part of this has been the big part that's been huge that I have really liked to see. And you guys would be oddly surprised if once you install one of these and then you start getting those alerts for the filters that are filtering out, malware, phishing sites, intrusion prevention system that's picking up on things. You're like, oh man, there's a lot more going on than I even thought.
Kevin Schoonover in chat room says worst/most malware he's run into is child from ages 4 to 12 website-based games linking to other web-based games.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's just some stuff. Did you hear about Zoom and on the Mac, the Zoom client? So Zoom has gotten real popular, right? The video conference software. And so the Mac client basically creates a web server, web socket, whatever, for itself when it installs, and it's kind of always on. And if you click a malformed link that will invoke the Zoom service, you can just go to a website, it will invoke the camera and turn it on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So at first I was like, oh, wait till I tell my Windows friends. And then I caught this off of the WordFence podcast. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to talk about, it's Mac. There's an
hard part about that is, unless that website has been flagged, invoking your stuff, that's a perfectly normal item for a web browser to do, right?
Now when your camera turns on, the lights turn on, right? So, and they can hide it behind another screen.
Now, they probably wouldn't block something like that because activating Zoom is a normal task you probably want it to do most of the time, right? Yeah.
It's the security expert I was listening to on the podcast was saying, so of course they got notification of this and they all went and joined, and he was like, so there were he clicked this link, and because it was a 0-day, the researcher had notified Zoom of this 90 days ago, and they did nothing. They did some things to try and stop it. And of course, so he put it out, kind of said, hey, and here's the use case and here's the test case. And so the guy said he clicked on the link, on the test case link, and there were 40 researchers in this chat room, they were all testing this link. And so they were talking to each other and some were dropping in and out. But he goes, it was super funny to have this massive video conference of this exploit on Zoom with all these researchers who were in there.
Wow.
It was pretty funny. So if you're on the Mac, what you can do is you can delete Zoom completely, but then make sure you wipe out all the files on it, because just deleting it does not remove the web server or whatever that component is. I forget exactly what it's called. That will still be there. So you got to go in and delete the Zoom file to get rid of that, and then I would reboot probably after that to make sure it's gone. It sounds like, I think now that it's a 0-day and it's in the wild, Zoom will probably get a little more serious about getting this fixed.
Yeah.
But that's a little scary, although not terrible. I mean, yeah, okay, your camera's going to turn on. I don't know, Mike, do you block your camera when you're not using it? Do you have something on there?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. And
I used to on my laptop sometimes, but no.
The new C92X models, the newest one, has an actual built-in
shutter
for it, and these don't. And I did it for a while, and then I would call people, and it was like, why isn't my camera working? Oh, that's right, I put something on there. So I don't know. How do you feel? Obviously, since you don't have something on there, you're not concerned?
No. And especially with the they probably could deactivate the light on there, but if some guy wants to see me sitting here in my skivvies sometime, right? Like when I come down early in the morning with my cup of coffee, like, more power to him.
Yeah. Right? There's not a lot to see. Kind of. I'm typing.
Yeah. That's usually
typing. Looking at the crypto.
Yeah. Just watching YouTube. So, I mean, it's pretty boring.
Watching YouTube, watching Connor Ward mow his lawn. That would be super exciting.
This guy's really into cigars and mowing.
Yeah, it's what a weird, exactly. And this couple in Idaho that are building a timber frame house. It's but in all seriousness, if someone gets control of your camera and your microphone, that's a serious problem, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't worry about that, but it is one of those kinds of things. I live a pretty boring life. So it's Kevin, thanks for that note as well. Mike, it seems like every show you have an update on your Unraid box. You've got something new you want to share with that?
Yeah, well, I mean, just one, the latest and greatest from me on Unraid is really messing around with Grafana. And I know a lot of you, especially if you're in the IT space, probably do play around with Grafana quite a bit. But for someone who's not in IT on a day-to-day basis, I hadn't really messed around too much, honestly, with Grafana. And so if you guys don't know what Grafana is, it's a way to make dashboards. And it plugs into a lot of data inputs. So depending on where you store the data that you want it to display in interactive dashboards, you can pull from a lot of different places. So if you are, I won't speak to using Grafana outside of this because I don't know, I haven't played with it too much, but if you're on Unraid, there are some really good Dockers, like Varkin is one for Plex, and Telegraph is one just for generally for your Unraid machine. Those two Dockers will feed current statistics into an Influx database. So you also get the Influx DB Docker as your database. And then Grafana can pull that data from the database and really display it in a really cool way. Let's see if I can show you real quick here just what I've been playing with in general. Share the screen, right? Open it up here. And so these are all based off of, there's a really cool community of people who are building Grafana dashboards. So you can actually go and use their template.
Are you sharing?
Not yet. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
And then you can connect, I was pulling up the screen, and then you can connect it to your database. So there we go.
Okay, we can see it.
Perfect. So this is, a custom dashboard that I picked up. There's a guy actually on Reddit who put it together. But this is essentially, what you're playing with. So all of this data is pulled from a database, and there's one Docker that takes the data and feeds it in. So this is updating every 30 seconds, but you can drag and drop these dashboards in. You can change the appearance on a lot of these sort of stats, like for drive temperature, right? In the standard one, there was just the current drive temperature, but you can add in the average and the max. Those were two columns I like to see. I want to, on average, what's this drive reporting? What's the max it's ever hit? And changing the time frame So really, and the great part about this is I have this behind my Let's Encrypt reverse proxy, meaning I can get to this from outside of my network. And so I can be at work and I can pull up this page and really check in on the stats of the Unraid box. You guys will see down here, Docker CPU, which Dockers are using the most CPU at the time, Docker RAM, everything that you really need to do, everything that you need to view all in one dashboard. So something fun I've been playing with. I just showed someone who's watching my Plexer. I showed their email address. So, all right, you guys don't spam them too bad. But because up top here, actually right above here, I have Plex stats. So who's currently watching, where are they watching from, things like that. It's right above here. But there's someone watching, so it'll show all their info. It'll show where they're watching, even their IP address. So so I'll leave that. Something I'm playing with, and I just really it's like I said, something that if you're not in IT on a day-to-day basis, you probably haven't played with it, but a super powerful tool, and it's free. So might as well get in there and play around with it.
Super cool. Little update on the Unraid box. And Mike, thanks for doing that. Next week, Mark Robson's coming on. We're going to talk a little barbecue and a little grilling. We're going to focus a little bit more on food and a little less on the grill technology. We haven't really done
this show like for the last 2 years because I'm out next week as well.
Oh no, really?
For the grill tech.
Okay, well, it'll be Mark and I. Mike Howard, it was scheduled to be on. Mike is not doing well. He found out just before his trip to Alaska that he's got some spots on his liver and some other things. He was experiencing some side pain. Not giving any HIPAA violations. This is all on his Facebook page. I don't have a lot of details right now. I haven't heard from the family. I pinged him right before he went on. He had a trip to Alaska scheduled and was not about to miss that. So they went and did a biopsy and then he went on vacation, which is super great. They weren't going to have the results back for 4 or 5 days anyways. And I just was checking his Facebook page and I haven't seen any updates, but Mike made it through. He had a cancer spot on his head that he had removed 2-3 years ago. And the doctor at the time did not have a very positive prognosis. And of course had been doing very, very well. And so our thoughts and prayers go out to the Howard family for that. He won't be joining us next week. So it'll be Mark and I, but Mike has been a big part of what we've done here at the AverageGuy.tv and the network and all the things we do. Mike has been around since the very beginning. And we've kind of gone through one of these scares with him a little bit. And, he wore a headband for a while. I think if you go back to some of the old Home Gadget Geeks, I had him on kind of not long after he had that removed on the back of his head. And I think he still had a headband on. That was probably pretty bad of me to have him on that early. But that's what
he wanted to do, right? He wanted to get out there and just not think about it in podcast.
No, kind of the community we are. And so, Mike, we're thinking about you. You're sure he's not at this point. I'm sure he's not listening, not out here tonight. And like I said, I was checking his Facebook page and they're asking for prayers. So, Mike, we're thinking about you, and it's always super tough. And if you're thinking about it, if you know Mike, maybe send him a little note of encouragement, just kind of encouraging him in that way that he might be doing well. So, Mike, we're thinking about you. Mark will be on with me next week, hopefully, and we'll be talking more food on that side, the grilling food. Mark has been doing tons of school and preparation around that. I'll be honest, I could use all the help I can do. So there's some preparation tricks. We know how to feed the pellets in and get the grills to the right temperature and get them smoked or some of those kind of things that we do. But Mark's going to bring some good kind of midsummer tips as we're thinking about how to prepare some of those things and just kind of how to enjoy kind of the great outdoors. So, Mike, anything else you add before we go?
No, I'm sad I have to miss it.
Yeah, darn it.
I know.
Well, maybe let me talk to. I don't want you to miss this. Like we've missed you a couple times on this, so let me talk to Mark and see where we're going. The week after, Edward is back, so it's time to get Edward Weniger back on here and talk a little bit about crypto.
Yeah,
and he's kind of been chomping at the bit to come back on. And then Micah is coming back here. This will be great. Micah's coming back August 15th. She has been looking at a bunch of different office tech, and she's like, "Hey, dude, I need to come back in and talk about this." So Micah will be back August 15th. With that, don't forget about our Patreon link if you want to support the show. Remember, if you do a $5, you get a coin. So we'll send that to you as well. A little $5 Patreon subscribe there. I don't know why I can't talk very well tonight, but I'm not finishing any of the sentences. Maybe it's the Guinness. I want to thank you for doing that. TheAverageGuy.tv/Patreon. Join our Discord group, TheAverageGuy.tv/Discord. Can send me an email, Jim@TheAverageGuy.tv. If you want to do that as well, join the Facebook group, Facebook.com/group/TheAverageGuy. I'm seriously thinking about just shutting that group off. Just to be honest with you, the traffic is, since we opened Discord, the traffic on the Facebook group has completely died. And I would have no problem shutting that off. So that may be coming up. If you're adamantly opposed to me shutting that off, let me know. Just send me an email, Jim@TheAverageGuy.tv. But I think we may be shutting that down here in the next couple months. Don't forget TheAverageGuy.tv, both web and media hosting powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust. Of course, that's Christian. Visit maplegrovepartners.com. Don't forget you can listen to us on the mobile app, HomeGadgetGeeks.com. If you want to do it that way. My daughter's home for the summer, Mike, and we are still enjoying those big boxes of HelloFresh. In fact, tonight we made spaghetti on Tuesday night. We had a whole bunch of it left over. There's spaghetti. Just, I don't know what it is. It's just that stuff multiplies as you're making it. It's super good. So tonight, a little wine, a little zucchini spaghetti, which is good. Mm-hmm. Be kind of good to grill that zucchini in advance and then throw that in.
That would be really good. I grilled vegetables and meat. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So still have HelloFresh coupons if you want to jump in, if you want to give it a try. You've been thinking about summer's the great time to do it. Basically 3 meals a week. I'll give you something that gets you the whole week nearly for free. I don't make anything off. I don't really want to, but it has been so great. We've still got one bag in the fridge. Sammy's gone. I get super spoiled because she every 5:30 every day she starts dinner when she's home. Like, no questions asked.
Are you sure you need to go back to school? Can you just stay here? Right?
It's like having a chef.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It's super great. Tonight when we got home, Sarah was pulling a bag. I'm like, can't we just have leftovers? Can we just have the leftover spaghetti? She was like, oh, that's good. The other thing we've done is we keep those little dinner rolls. They're little twisted dinner rolls. They're frozen. We just keep, you can buy them by the box.
Yep.
Toss those in 10 minutes. You got fresh rolls. Oh. So spaghetti, leftover spaghetti, and dinner rolls tonight was super good. And then I did a call with Australia and Japan, which was super cool, off my phone. What a miracle it is that we live in a day when I can take this phone and set it up at the kitchen table with a glass of wine, make a call to Australia and Japan at the same time, have a conversation with them that they can hear
in real time.
In real time. We're going to launch a new show in Japan, which is super cool. So
very nice.
I'm pretty excited about that. So not this tech stuff, but the stuff I do with Gallup.
Right.
And so pretty cool. So let me know if you want that jump in on the HelloFresh. Super good. And we'd love to help you do that. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern now at theaverageguy.tv/live. Don't forget to check the show notes for this show. We'll have full transcripts. Love your feedback on that as well. If you even care, I don't know why you would, but maybe you do. We'll be back next Thursday. If you're listening live, stay around. We've got a little update on crypto. We'll do that in 5 or 6 or 7 minutes. But with that, we'll say goodbye, everybody. If you got this far on the video or even on the audio, if you're listening on Patreon, congratulations for doing that. Don't forget, if you're a $1 subscriber on Patreon, you want to up that to $5, I'll send you a nifty little coin. Ron made these for us, and I'll send those over to you.
It's a good deal.
You can
upgrade to the 5.
Upgrade to 5 and then downgrade. Whatever. So we just appreciate you. Cost me about $4 to actually get these to you. It was kind of a mixed bag, Mike. Some guys got it with the postage due, but they didn't actually have to pay it. Some guys had to pay the postage because I put $1.10. I put $1.10 on there. So now I know, just put 8 stamps on it and it will get them to. Mike, have you been following crypto?
I have. It's been an interesting time, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think? Tell me what you think.
If you would have asked me that a few days ago, I would have had a much different story.
Yeah.
But now the bottom's jumping down a little bit, and I'm not really sure. I really thought we were going to see Bitcoin stay above 12. I thought that we kind of hit that new benchmark and we weren't going to drop below that for a while. So now that it's kind of come back down, obviously it's bringing all the other alts with it. I don't know. I really thought we had kind of hit one of those next plateaus that it wasn't going to fall too far below. So, Jim, my prediction's already been shot. But were you thinking this was going to happen?
I don't know. It's today, as we're recording right now, Bitcoin's at 11,300. Got 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Could we have imagined a day when Bitcoin was back at 11?
No, definitely not. No.
So I do think breaking through the 10,000 barrier is we've stayed above. That certainly is a support, at least a support line at this point. Ethereum's been all over the place. Those are kind of the two I have been watching the most. At this point, I have some XRP and I've got some Tron.
Me too. And Tron's been one of those that has had some of the biggest swings I've seen.
Yeah, it has a lot.
Where you're up 13%, you're back down 12. You're kind of up and down.
Yeah, Burst actually hit an all-time low. So since we were kind of talking in the Burst community here, I had to reboot my computers. By the way, Patch Tuesday yesterday. So maybe time to go take a look at your computers.
2 days ago, right?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And although for most people it hit Wednesday, right?
Oh, okay.
It downloads Tuesday and then they get the notification on Wednesday. Burst has been pretty interesting. I mean, it kind of hit an all low about 0.3 cents back winter, I guess I would say, maybe early spring. Really kind of took a dive and had, we was kind of, and then went on a run. And, when you think about maybe 0.3 cents to maybe just over a penny, that's 3 times, my friends.
Yeah, right.
And so, at those kinds of numbers, yeah, you kind of like, well, it's still only worth a penny. Yeah, but it was only worth 0.3 cents before. And when you start looking at the percentages, you kind of go, cool. So it spiked, it pulled back, but it again has stayed above a support level of about 0.7 cents. So not sure that thing's going to pull all the way back. I kind of wish. And I did. I bought a bunch. I mined a bunch of Burst. No, I mined a bunch of BitTube. Remember when we were talking about BitTube, that replacement? Yeah. That was mining at about 3 cents. And then it went up to 5 and I sold it. And I bought Burst at a low point. I mean, it's the only time in my life I've ever done. Worked great.
So BitTube has since
it has. It's back to about 2 cents.
Okay.
It's about back to 2 cents. That's been flying all over the place. They actually are one of BitTube. Let me look at mining.bittube.com. They actually, of all the cryptocurrencies, with the exception of maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum, actually are maybe one of the few that actually have a business model. Like some of the storage ones do too.
Right.
So those are kind of doing their things. But BitTube is really making a run at being kind of a replacement for YouTube. Would that ever happen? Not in a million years. But did we ever think Bitcoin was going to come back? Yeah, you never know, right? You never know. So BitTube just kind of replaced their platform. So I think they were at bit.tube and now they're somewhere else. And now it looks like maybe the mining site is not pulling stuff back up. But they too have been one that has been interesting to watch. Pretty wild swings between 2.5 cents and 5 cents. I was trying to see if I could play the difference between those two. Sell it high, let it back down, buy back in, let it come back up, because it was doing a pretty regular 2.5 to 5 cent swing.
Yep.
So I sold, and then I don't know why I dumped it into Burst. Well, that turned out to be a pretty good, pretty good move. Yeah. So,
because there's a few of those, like you said. I think people are actually, and that's just the one thing they're doing with them, like Tron. I think we're seeing these massive swings. I think people are playing the ups and the downs, and really that's one of those where they're still buying and selling. Whereas with the other ones, I don't think that's happening as much as it was happening if you take us back like 2 years from now, right? But a few of those, I think people are still playing the ups and downs quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the ones that are, sub 5 pennies, right? If you're sub 5 cents, like Tron's, I think at 2 cents, like you said, Burst 0.8 cents. For those ones, you can get pretty big swings without too much movement.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you just got to know how to predict it a little bit,
right?
And kind of be patient with them. If you're trying to do it daily, I don't think that's necessarily the way to go. Let me see if I can look up the BitTube price here. I thought it was about 2.5 cents. No, I'm not going to be able to get to it. So the market continues to be interesting, to say the least. I was meeting with some guy the other day, and Bitcoin came up, and he goes, "How does that work?" I was like, "Do you really want to know?
How much do you want to know?"
I'm like, "All right, let's talk about the blockchain." And then,
how many years do you have to talk?
Yeah, you got a few hours.
Yeah,
this.
Right.
No,
we're gonna need a cigar.
Yes, I think I've gotten it down to a 5-minute spiel.
Okay.
Like, I talk about the blockchain, why it's important, what it's good for, displaying data, secure consensus, those kinds of things, right?
Yep.
And then say, now to secure these, you got to motivate somebody. This takes processing power. If you're going to get this done, you got to motivate somebody to do it. You got to give them something. Well, Bitcoin was invented, so there would be some incentive to do these things. Otherwise, people just aren't going to do it out of the goodness of their heart, right? And they always go, oh, that makes sense.
Right.
So, so a good opportunity to talk about it a little bit more. I do see, some of the bad actors dropping out a little bit, and some of them have come back now that the price has come back a little bit. But
on Burst,
Burst is a mess. That whole community's it's fragmented. Okay. It's a lot like the Saya community was. Where
I remember that.
Saya was there creating some momentum. And then
Storage comes along, or Storage.
Yeah, well, even in Saya, I mean, it's splintered into 3 different, because there were 4 different versions of that blockchain.
Right.
And it took away, Hyperspace was one of those on the Saya side. So Hyperspace, Saya Classic. Oh, I can't believe I know all these. Saya Classic, Saya Prime, Hyperspace. Oh my God, Mike. I cannot believe I actually remember this. Okay.
And you just ran right through them. You have right off your head.
I know, just ridiculous. So Mark, the guy who was kind of a jerk through the whole Saya split, he moved everybody off on Hyperspace. The guy has disappeared.
Really?
Yeah, he's nowhere to be found. And the Discord is super funny, because they're like, "Oh, I hope Mark comes back. Mark, where are you?" They're tagging Mark. He is gone. He looked at this, said, "This is dumb.
Yeah,
this is dumb."
Right.
And he is
just ghosted everyone. I love it.
Yeah. So Hyperspace, pretty much nothing, right? Saya Prime and Saya Classic. Saya Classic, of course, was the one that didn't fork and kept going when Saya, the group at Saya, kept going. Neither one of them, they have literally not moved. Now, that's okay, because they're storage blockchains.
Yeah, yeah. Not what you're getting that coin for.
Be a little bit stable, right? Yep. That's kind of what you want. Saya has continued to do some development. Storage, or Storage, as we like to call it, they're in version 3, and they're getting ready to do a release of their elastic storage competitor product around this. And it actually kind of looks interesting. You're like,
okay.
Now, will they make a run? I don't know. If they had a good product and somebody starts picking it up.
Yeah, right. I want to see the product, right? On those 2 ones, not as interested in the movement of the price of the currency, but really seeing if the product's viable. Because, they've gone through a few iterations where I've been like, I'm not really sure if this is something that can actually compete with the big dogs. I'd love to see something that maybe even could, or give it a run.
Yeah, you never know. Nobody thought Uber would make it.
Nope.
It's like, seriously? Nobody, to be honest with you, no one, like we talked about this. I mean, HelloFresh still has, in Blue Apron, they still have a ways to go before they can kind of, put mission accomplished up on the aircraft carrier,
right, and
call this thing done. They've got to, we don't know if those things are going to survive. So I think Storage has taken the most methodical, disciplined approach to all of this.
Yeah.
And their community is not as fragmented as what we saw in Saya. Saya's kind of gathered everybody else back up from the other communities and been like, okay, let's see if we can really get this done. But it fragmented the development community so bad. There was nobody there. They lost momentum in getting these things developed. I mean, these developers are already doing it for nothing, basically.
Yeah.
Storage at least had kind of a business plan around this thing to try and make it work. So They just took so much bandwidth that I'm still not excited about putting any of those back on my boxes, even though I've got the storage space.
Yeah.
You're kind of like, I don't know.
They were such bandwidth hogs too.
They really were. Yeah. Yeah, they really were. I thought it'd be a little bit lighter but they were super chatty, and I think they were testing when we were first doing
why.
this. So, I think, again, that being said, it's still interesting. These are all still interesting things to kind of follow and kind of talk through, and you never really know. I'm still working at Gallup, and I haven't quit my day job, and I haven't bought that Mercedes. Nobody buys Mercedes. Tesla. I haven't bought that Tesla yet, so it's not like I'm calling it in rich, but super fun. Mike, anything else you'd add?
No. Not on the crypto side.
Today was a bad day. It's Thursday.
It was the worst day we've had in a long time. I know.
Yeah. Although the 24-hour on Bitcoin, the 24-hour percentage is only down 4%, almost 5%. So that's not too bad on the swings, right? I mean, yeah, it had been 13 and some change just a few days ago, but again, it's a product that doesn't really have a market. And so it's just going to do some of these kinds of things.
Yeah.
You never really know. I haven't heard a lot from our friends over at, what's the private one? Is it Tron, the private
Ripple?
one? No. Ripple, the XRP. Yeah, XRP and Ripple. Haven't really heard a lot from that project.
No.
It has been going up with the market.
Yeah.
And it slid. But it hasn't been quite as off. Litecoin, I think, is getting ready to do a split of their own. I think they're getting ready to fork. And so that had done really, really well, and now is back down to the 100 kind of area. But they all follow Bitcoin. Let's not.
They do. Yep.
As one goes, so do the others.
Oh, yeah.
With that, we'll close it up. I want to thank you guys for hanging around, just at least for that conversation. It's been a while since I've thrown a crypto conversation in the box. So thanks for listening. Appreciate it. All right. What do you think of StreamYard, Mike?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super easy.
Yeah. No, pretty cool. Anybody still around in the chat room? Anybody? Yeah. No, I think this is super cool. Like I
think this is the replacement right here. Easy. People still get the YouTube chat, and it doesn't disrupt your flow for post, right? Because you're still just going to download it straight from YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think it'll work well.
Yeah. Just being able to throw this up, when I heard you say bad actors,
that's really cool.
BitConnect. Yeah, that was true. That's super easy to do, and you can. There's other things in the paid version. You can put banners up. I don't know. I wonder if I can do that here. I might be able to. Maybe I can do this in the free version. We'll put up a hello world. So if I show this. Oh, yeah. There you go. I didn't know that. I didn't know you could do that. So if I wanted to, there's different.
And I was thinking, even as our names, I should have put my Twitter handle. Instead of Mike, it should have been @WeakerTech or whatever. Right. And you could do for your name down here. Yeah. Well, here, right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That would make sense. You could do that. We do that. We do that when we log in. But yeah, we could.
Well, I didn't have to log into anything.
No. Well, when you first come to the site, it shows you a picture of of the camera, and then there's a place you can put your name.
Yes. That.
You can put Mike Weaker in there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Whatever you want to put in. Yeah. Lower thirds are not intrusive at all. And then even the up over here,
powered by StreamYard.
Even powered by StreamYard is not bad. Yeah, right there. Even that's not bad.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird icon. It could have kind of better logo. That duck.
We're talking about the Ryzen stuff again. My whopping 2 terabyte drive comes next week. $31.
It's still a good deal.
It is really a good deal.
Free shipping and everything.
It's pretty much all I need at this point right now too. So
yeah.
Live guys, thanks for joining us. We're gonna cut this off so I can do all the editing stuff that I got to do to get this done. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for coming out. Enjoy the chat room while it lasts, and we'll see you next time.